Welcome to Collaboration, a Lions University course brought to you by the USA-Canada Lions Leadership Forum. My name is Past District Governor Wendy Kane, and I am recording the upfront portions of this webinar after our scheduled webinar because we had some initial technical difficulties with that recording. So I'm going to catch us up to the content of our faculty and then turn the webinar over to them. Collaboration is course number 221, an elective course for the Lions University Master's Program that is designed to help Lions lead at the district level. The Master's Program involves the completion of 10 required courses and at least 5 elective courses. You can see all the courses that are currently available or scheduled by going to the appropriate program summary page. The bachelor's program page is shown on the slide, and we have a corresponding page for the master's program. Lions will need to register for an account on lionsuniversity.org in order to access the available courses, take quizzes, and track real-time progress. This requires a different username and password than those who have registered at the Lions Forum website, members.lionsforum.org. However, Lions could choose to use the same if you wish. After participating in a webinar or watching a course video, select Mark as Completed at the bottom of the course page, and the link to the quiz module will appear. You can monitor your own course completions by selecting My Account and then selecting either My Bachelor's Program courses or My Master's Program courses. When you have completed a phase of the program, such as all required courses, at least 5 elective courses, or the required experience, select Apply for Program Credit and select the appropriate phase. After you complete the relevant information, it will be verified and then your completion will be updated on your profile at members.lionsforum.org. It is now my pleasure to introduce our faculty member for this particular course, and that is Past International Director Judy Hankum from Multiple District 9 in Iowa. And so we will meet up with Past International Director Judy in just a moment. The objectives for this course are to define collaboration, using the processes of collaboration, and discussing the benefits and purpose of collaboration. So what is collaboration? Past Director Judy came across several definitions in her research. Collaboration is a working practice whereby individuals work together to a common purpose to achieve benefit. It can benefit districts and Lions clubs. It can benefit district and vice district governors, as well as business, church, or your personal use. Also, it has the act of working in concert with others to push ideas forward. Collaboration is 2 or more people working together toward shared goals. So collaboration involves a team made up of 2 or more people working together and having that the process that you're going to use to work together, and working toward shared goals or shared purpose. We hear a lot about collaboration when it comes to conflict resolution. We hear that it can help provide a win-win situation for all involved parties. Collaboration can exist in 2 forms. Real-time, where everyone interacts face-to-face, and this could include online meetings through instant messaging or with Skype. Or time-shifted, and this is where the interaction takes place over a series of time, or it's shifted. For example, over time, documents being uploaded into shared workspaces, or making contributions to a wiki. So why do we need or want collaboration? Well, collaboration enables us to get great results. When everyone feels that they have been a part of the solution, it gives a great feeling, and no one feels that they lost out to someone else. Where can we use collaboration? We use collaboration all of the time in our lives. We just may not recognize that it's the process that we're using. All of us may be surprised to learn that we're actually collaborating in many of the decisions that we make. As was previously mentioned, we can use it to resolve conflict issues and develop a win-win result. We can use it to plan events or to settle problems that may have come up. And now, let's join the original webinar with past International Director Judy Hankum.
Focus how collaboration can be a valuable tool for district leaders. I'm going to share 2 examples of groups who can benefit from collaboration as we move through the process. First example, a couple of Lion members within a club have a conflict. They are really at odds with each other. It becomes obvious to all in the club that something needs to be done to end this conflict. The other members do not want the conflict to tear their club apart. The club president calls the district governor for help. Second example, 2 women, including the second vice district governor, want to put on a women's symposium in their district. They need help and they need to work together to pull it off. So how do we use collaboration? There are several steps that will lead us through the process. Now, I want to make this note. Sometimes these steps flow together, sometimes not always in this exact order. So this is the process. First step, awareness. A project looms in the distance and it needs to be worked on. Those who are involved with the project become part of this working group. The group realizes that they share the purpose. And what is the purpose? Seeing this project through to a successful conclusion. Then is when there is the realizing that there is a project or problem that's too big or complicated for one person to solve. There's the knowledge that there is an urgency to work together as a team. So here we become part of a working group with a shared purpose. In regard to the first example I gave you about the conflict, the president of the Lions Club where the conflict is going on calls the district governor and asks for help. The members are thinking if the conflict is not resolved, the club may be split in 2. A couple of women in the district, including the second vice district governor, decide to host this symposium, and they reach out. In both of these cases, as you can tell, the involved parties are aware that they need help. The second step in the process is motivation. Here we want to gain a consensus in the problem solving or the development of the project. We want to achieve the goal so that we are motivated to do the very best that we can. The district governor knows that he or she may lose a club if this conflict is not resolved in the club. So he or she becomes motivated to help resolve the conflict. All the club members, including the 2 conflicted members, know that the struggle has gone on long enough. The members want harmony and they become motivated to begin settling the dispute. The second example, the district women are motivated to bring a group together to begin the planning process. They are working for a purpose, that being a successful event. So let's move on to the third step, synchronizing. As individuals, we decide when things need to happen. We see the need to come together and work as a team. Here are some tips. Find teammates who do something that you can't. Collaborations are most effective when teammates complement each other rather than replicate one another's abilities. Power struggles can happen when there is skill duplication. Having a diverse team is good. When we are too much alike, we tend to not have the variety of ideas and solutions. Diversity is important in areas of brainstorming, problem solving, and ideas. The more diverse the group is, the better the results may be for the outcome. And that is how the district women view their teamwork. They believe diversity is a good thing. So they are looking for teammates who have differing skills. They know when we're too much alike, we tend to not have the variety of ideas and solutions. And the governor is trying to bring the club together to work as a team. He's trying to make that team synchronize. Let's move on to the fourth step, participation. For a successful collaboration to come about, here are some tips to make the groups more effective. Responsibilities need to be made clear to all who are in the process. Giving responsibilities at the start of the project gives everyone direction. It also gives a sense of ownership to all those who are involved. In other words, there needs to be individual responsibility. Sometimes we do the process of brainstorming to come up with ideas. If we do, it may be best to gather those ideas and reflect on the ideas on our own. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in step 7. Here in participation, the fourth step, the district women may come together for such a session. They can go home and mull over the ideas that come out of their brainstorming session. For the conflicting club, it is necessary to bring together the two members who have the disagreement. They need to participate along with the governor and perhaps the club president as well. They may come up with some ideas. The most important factor is that all involved parties are actively participating. Mediation is our 5th step. Let's think win-win in this step. We all need to develop genuine feelings for mutually beneficial solutions or agreements in our work with our groups. When we value and respect our coworkers, we understand that a win for all parties is a much better long-term resolution than if only one person in the situation gets his or her way. So we need to be open to ideas from others. That means we set aside our egos and we look objectively at all ideas. We need to detach from preconceived notions. We negotiate in this step, collaborate together, and find a middle point. Here the district governor plays an important role, bringing the two disagreeing members together. All the parties here must come up with a solution appealing to everyone. The district women, and they might have men by now in their group, develop a great relationship. They are starting to click. Moving on to the 6th step, reciprocity. This step advises us to seek first to understand and then to be understood. The thing here is to use empathetic listening to be genuinely influenced by a person. We need to have a mutual exchange here. This in turn compels the other person to reciprocate the listening and take an open mind to being influenced by you. This reciprocity creates an atmosphere of caring and positive problem solving. We share ideas and we expect sharing in return. In the first example, the district governor asks all parties to really listen to each other, putting aside their closed minds and to be open to each other. The symposium is moving forward as all the women understand and agree on the direction of it. They listen to each other and agree on how to proceed. In our 7th step, reflection, this step we think and we consider alternatives. Here we gather data, impressions, stories, history, any other observations about what we have done. Much of the creative lifting happens when we are by ourselves, working on our own. We're in a better position to evaluate the merits of an idea after we've given a topic some thought, not when we're encountering it for the first time. And this is what I talked about brainstorming in one of the earlier steps. That brainstorming is a very good way to get some good ideas, but they might need to be privately reflected on. And that's what I'm saying here in this step, that we sometimes are in a better position after we've given a topic some thought. So we might be better off using our meeting time together to exchange ideas, not generate them. The district women, and if they have men, go over the ideas for their symposium, keeping in mind that ideas can be slightly tweaked or tweaked a lot to make them better, as long as they are collaborating and agreeing. The district governor is working with all parties to consider an alternative solution to the conflict. There may be a solution that can include ideas from both parties, or it may be an idea that has not occurred to anyone yet. 8th step, engagement. Here we proactively engage, and this is the emphasis. We are proactive instead of reactive. We proactively engage, work together, rather than wait and see. We combine the strengths and ideas of people through positive teamwork that helps us to achieve goals that no one could have done alone. We take action to carry out the plans that we've created. We come to a consensus together, do our work as a team. And if we're working on a project or creating a solution to a conflict, we execute the ideas that turn your project or resolution into a success. Now, it's good to point out that collaboration relies on openness, sharing knowledge, but also with levels of focus and accountability. We need to be focused and we need to be accountable to our group. So it's good to say that the district governor with the club president and the 2 conflicted members have agreed on a solution, and it was one that no one had thought of before. It was difficult, it was hard, but they all agreed on the solution. The district men and women who are working on this symposium are pleased with the plans that have been set into place. They feel they have done a good collaboration. So now I would like to share with you some factors that guide how we interact with each other in the collaboration process. The first one is trust. It's so important to develop trust among those who are working together for whatever the goal might be. When the group can create ties by sharing personal stories that are related to our common interests, the group will be in a better position to develop and foster the necessary trust. Stories are a great way to move away from being strangers to a bit closer to that of a trusted colleague. When we understand each other's perspectives, we create those ties that will make collective work possible. Then there is respect. There is the need to respect the differences in all members of the group. Each person needs to feel that they are valued as a member. It is important for all to be allowed to voice their opinion. Another factor is open and flexible approach to thinking. If any participant is inflexible in his or her thinking and has given up the possibility of change, then talk becomes very limited, and so has the success of the group. We must remain adaptable and be open and flexible in our approach of thinking if we want to collaborate. The last factor is group reciprocity. This describes the relationships that are created when each member of the team serves as both a leader and a participant from time to time in the meetings. Each member will feel an obligation to help others, as well as having a sense of confidence that others will be there to help if he or she needs help. Relationships can evolve and deepen as a result of working together. This group might be more willing to work together if they've had a successful collaboration. So let's move on to the third part of collaboration, the purpose and the benefit. Now that we've discussed what collaboration is all about, teamwork, and the process of working through it, we need to discuss the purpose of it, the shared goals.
Judy?
Yes.
Can I just intersect here for a second? We do have a question on the 8 steps that we just went through, and there's a question here by Lion Connie. She says the 8 steps follow a nice flow. Would there be circumstances when a step is either skipped or needs to be repeated?
Yes, that could very well happen, that you would maybe repeat a step, or that one step might precede one of the other steps. When I was researching that, it said that these steps usually go in this order, but not necessarily. You might have to go back and repeat a step or skip a step and then come back to it later.
All right, thank you.
Okay, let's see. We were talking about the purpose and benefits of collaboration. Collaboration allows the possibility for all involved parties to win in the situations of resolving conflict or making an event come to life, as well as solving a problem. In a conflict, that is especially important because there is no destructive and unnecessary competition when the whole team comes to a consensus in their collaboration effort. Without collaboration, if someone else wins or is successful in a situation, that could mean you lose. When we believe that there are enough resources and successes to share with others, we are able to celebrate the success of others rather than feel threatened by it. And by this, I mean when you are in the process of collaboration and you are realizing that you are having to give up to an idea that you are really hanging on to, you might realize that the whole group can have a success and you don't have to be threatened because you have to give up the idea that you really thought was wonderful. Collaboration creates an atmosphere of caring and positive solving. When we use it, the strengths of people can be combined so as to achieve goals that no one could have done alone. And I really like there's this big tangible benefit, and big intangible benefit is that when a win-win situation is reached, a feeling of goodwill exists that can carry over to that group really feeling good about working together again. And that is so important, to know that you have come to a consensus together and you would really be willing to work together with that group again. Collaboration can be time-consuming, but it can reap great results, especially with that benefit of goodwill. This happens when all involved feel they've had a part in the purpose or the success, whether it's a conflict that was resolved or whether it was a problem that was solved or an event planning went very well because it was collaborated. So when the process, those 8 steps and the interactive factors are in play, collaboration can be a great tool. And I have some other additional tips that I would like to share with you. 3 collaborative traits that are most helpful in the process. 1, if you are participating in collaboration, be prepared. When you come for a meeting, be prepared. Respect your time and the time of others. We all know how valuable time is anymore, and we don't want to waste it. 2, be engaging. Speak in ways to captivate the interest of everyone. Team buy-in is so important. That's what's important. And number 3, you are adaptable and flexible. We have to learn how to manage dysfunction. If somebody gets off track, or if someone is too pushy and they may need to be asked respectfully to be more flexible. Are there any questions?
Yes, I have one more question brought by Lion Dawn. We're talking about the factors for interaction, and she asked the question, to increase the chance of group success, would you recommend removing a member who is not flexible?
It may come to the point, if a person is that inflexible, that you may have to ask them to leave the group. I do have some suggestions if a person is dominating, really dominating. I came across, this is an important point that we're discussing, and I'm going to use myself. Judy has openly shared her views. It would be great to hear everyone else's opinion on this. Can we go around the room and have everyone give their view on this idea? If someone is being inflexible, perhaps you could go to this technique to use to address dysfunctional behavior. But it may come to the point that you may have to ask someone to leave the group if they are so inflexible because they think their idea is the best one and they just can't get past that.
Okay. Another question by Line AJ. Would this be a good use of mediation?
I'm sure that it would, yes. I'm sure that it would because I'm going to move back to my pages here where I had the mediation. See what step that was. Yes. Yes, it would be a good step for that because the 5th step is mediation where we're talking about think win-win, and if we're developing genuine feelings when we value and respect our core workers, we're going to understand that if we can get a win for all the parties involved, it's a much better long-term resolution than if only one person in that situation had gotten his or her way. But we do have to remember to be open to ideas from everyone.
Right, and I think those factors, you know, you talk of trust and respect and
yes.
flexibility. I mean, all 3 of those are so important when trying to come up with a win-win situation. And there are going to be times where you're going to be butting heads or coming up against someone who just does not want to give in. You know, those are difficult situations, and you know, if everyone isn't being respectful of others, and if everyone doesn't have a certain level of trust, I've worked on committees and different, not just Lions, but other organizations too, where you know you didn't always get along with someone that was on that committee, but you're all working supposedly towards a common goal. And like you said earlier, you know, sometimes you have to set aside your egos and your you know, your statue where you are in that organization, and just knuckle down and try to come up with the best solution for everybody. And it may not always be you know, a solution that's best for you, but you have to set that aside and look for the solution that's best for the entire group. And you know, sometimes you come across someone who just won't work within that group, and I think that's when you have to either do some mediation or do some private one-on-one discussion, you know, about their attitude or their you know, how they're approaching the situation. And you know, ultimately, if you need to talk about replacing that person or asking them to leave, so you can get someone on board to help out in that situation. So it can be a very difficult situation.
Yes, it can be. Everybody that's participating in this process just has to leave, like you say, you have to leave your ego at the door and just go in with a clear mind, knowing that you're going to make the best decision that you can for the group. I do have another little point I would like to make. Sometimes when you're in collaboration, you might get off track, and this is an excellent point to make. You could say something like this: you're not the meeting leader, but the discussion seems to be getting off track, and you don't want the dysfunctional meeting to continue. So you could say something like this: we've been discussing some excellent points, but I know we have to get back to our main topic, but I don't want to lose track of what we've been talking. Can we record them on an issues list or something so we can discuss them later and then get back to our main topic? You could ask this kind of question that was just nicely asked so that you could get the group back on track again.
Right, yeah. And Judy, in no matter what type of situation you're in, when you have this group that's trying to, perform this collaboration, do you need to have someone who is a leader or someone who is in charge, a chair? There's a question here by Lion Dawn.
Yes, I would say you would generally need to have somebody that's in charge. At some other time I talked about at some point there might be the point where somebody else is somebody is leading and they're like just a participant at the same time. But I do think there does need to be a general leader that can keep the meeting moving along, and that you have a good flow and you are staying on track.
Yeah, someone like a facilitator or someone, a mediator,
Yes.
just we talked about earlier, because you need to have someone who has the big picture in mind with the end result, for a good group result, and not leaning towards one way or the other. Like a good club president should be running a meeting. They're not supposed to be leaning, or a district governor. Anybody who's in charge or a chair, they may have some input, but you don't want to be leading anybody to your point of view. You're there to collect all the information and let the group make the decision.
Yes. One other point I would like to make too, that you might come into a meeting and there might be somebody that is a team member, and you personally do not like that person, and you're going to probably say to yourself, am I going to be able to work with this person? Well, part of the collaboration process is that you should be able to leave that dislike at the door and try to work together with that person. Even though you may dislike or not like somebody very well, leave that behind so that you can work together, and you might just be able to develop a better trust and respect for that person, that you could maybe even work together with that person, leaving that personal dislike at the door.
Right, yeah. Lion Leanne says, if you came across someone who did not want to resolve the issue but insisted they were right, how do you handle that situation?
Well, it is very hard when you cannot get somebody, or if somebody is dominating the conversation. It's just important, I think, to make sure that everyone is allowed to share their views, and someone else, if the facilitator doesn't bring that up, somebody else might have to bring up the point that, for example, as I said before, Judy's been sharing her views, but I think it would be good if we could hear everybody else's opinion, so that you could get that dominating person, get maybe his or her ideas on the sideline for a while, so that you could hear somebody else's ideas.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I also want to make one more addition here. Wendy Kane came on as a panelist sometime early on, I believe, and I noticed that this session is being recorded, and not through any miracle on my part, because I couldn't find the recording button. It still hasn't popped up. But early on in the session, I think right after you took over, Judy, the recording light came on, so it is being recorded. So we'll get a recording of and I want to publicly thank Wendy. She's in the background there somewhere, and want to thank her for taking care of that for me in the background. Thanks, Wendy.
Yes, thank you, Wendy.
Unmuted. My pleasure.
Anyone else have any questions you want to type in the question pane, or raise your hand to have a comment or something? We have a little bit of time yet. If not, we'll get everybody out early tonight. Enjoy the nice weather. At least it is here in Illinois and back in Iowa, where Judy's from. So hopefully it's that case around here. Let's see if we have anything else. I don't see anything else that comes forward, so we will go ahead and click on to your last slide, reviewing the objectives, and see if we actually did what we set out to do.
Yes, we set out to define collaboration, and I think we did when we said it was a team of 2 or 3 people, 2 or more people working together through those processes, we reviewed in those processes how to use it and the good traits that help a lot in those processes. And then we learned the benefits of it, that you can come to a common goal, a consensus, and you can have that feeling of goodwill that can spill over into additional committee meetings or whatever might go on in your Lions clubs.
Great. Okay. Well, at this point, I want to thank Line Judy for preparing the collaboration webinar and putting all the information together. A lot of great information that has been supplied here. And again, it has been recorded, so if anyone needs to go back and review, they can. There are some handouts that are linked onto the course page, so you can go on Lions University and click on those handouts that are available for tonight too as well. So I want to thank you again, Judy, and thank everyone for attending this evening.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you very much. I want to remind everyone we are going to have a graduation ceremony at the Grand Rapids Forum in September. So everyone who actually graduates from the bachelor's program, and I know there isn't anyone that qualifies for that yet, but the last required course is coming up next week on the bachelor's level. So I'm sure that's going to be a well-attended course, because that's the last course of the required section for bachelors, and should have a good crowd there for that. But for everyone who will be graduating either on the bachelor's level or the master's level, we expect to have both classes represented at the graduation ceremony. It will be a recognition program. It will be on Friday evening, September 18th, from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And the information for that will be in the program once you get to Grand Rapids. So all graduates are encouraged to attend. You will receive a diploma and a handshake by our Lions President, International President Yamada, and get a picture taken with him. So we hope that everyone is there, and the faculty members are going to be invited to as well. So you'll have an opportunity to meet some of your faculty members there. So if you haven't already made plans to attend the USA Canada Lions Leadership Forum in September in Grand Rapids, please do so, and by all means attend the graduation ceremony on Friday evening. Lion AJ, no, I don't think there'll be caps and gowns. He just typed in, will we have caps and gowns? I don't believe so, but the diploma will have your name in it, and we'll have pictures and all that displayed, I think, during the Saturday lunch program too. So be there. We hope to have everyone there. The next 2 weeks, the next webinar is coming up. As I said, the last bachelor's required course is next week, next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 107, Building Club Membership. That is the last required bachelor's program course. And then a week later, we will be having the course 205. That's a required master's course, Advanced Facilitating Skills, on Tuesday, August 4th. And you can register for both of those classes on the lionsuniversity.org calendar page. As a reminder, the quiz has been loaded up and is ready to go for this particular course. You can go on lionsuniversity.org /masters and this course, the collaboration. Go through there, mark course completed, and then the next tab will be taking the quiz, and you go ahead. I think there's 7 or 8 questions there, mostly true and false, and a couple of multiple choice. So it's linked there, and good luck to everyone with that quiz. So with that, I would like to thank everyone again. You're getting out of class early this evening, so enjoy the rest of the night, and we hope to see you again in another Lions University course. And I will ask Wendy, if you're still on there, Wendy, if you could go ahead and take care of closing out the recording, because since I didn't have a start button, I don't have a stop button either. So thank you again, Lion Judy, and everyone who attended, and we appreciate it. We'll see you next week.